Hello traders and welcome to Trading the Trend. I am Dennis and this is my weekend look at the market trends for week ending June 2nd. And right now I am looking at the death trend of the American middle class. Actually, this is a trend of CD rates. And as you can see, they have been headed down for the last couple of decades, and we're well under 2%. Actually, we're just barely above 1% at this time. And there's two ways that the middle class earns wealth. That is with long-term home ownership and savings over decades. And right now, fewer Americans own a home than in many years, and we're not getting any money for our savings. So this pretty much is a death sentence of the American middle class. After this current generation of middle class Americans, there's going to be a lot less middle class Americans in the decades to come unless something changes, and it doesn't look like we're going to see any change coming soon because the government has no more money. So let's move on to something a little more cheerful, and that is the S&P 500. At least we can make our money gambling in the stock market at this time if we can't make it in the safety of a certificate of deposit. So S&P 500, we finally broke out of this range last week and we had continuation. So this is looking really, really good for us. And matter of fact, the Dow, which had been a laggard, finally it just barely peeked its head above this line. So it's at an all-time new high. So we'll have to see if we can get continuation and get away from this zone and move higher. The NASDAQ is just on fire, another big move up for the week. Same with the NASDAQ 100, same with the semiconductors. Everything is moving up at this point, at least most everything is. Look at Bitcoin. It had the big reversal late in the week after this huge parabolic move. And after a little bit of a move down, it stabilized and is moving back up. This is as of close on Friday. It's up to about 2470 as I am recording this. The one area of the market that continues to lag right now is the energy sector, and here we have oil down for the second week in a row. And the strange thing about this down move in oil, locally gas prices went up 20 cents a gallon in my area, so go figure that one. Areas related to this energy sector, I mean, look at this downtrend we got going here. I mean, this thing just doesn't want to end. I mean, it will end eventually. I mean, if you look at it from a longer term basis, it's not that big of a deal, but we do seem to be headed towards this all-time low we had down here. Another sector to look at is the OIH. Same situation. You got that. We have this big downtrend, and there just doesn't seem to be any end in sight. The good thing is valuations are becoming really good on this, so eventually it will find some buyers. We just have to be patient, and if you own it, you're in pain right now. If you don't own it, well, you're grabbing a falling knife, but at least it should find a bottom here soon. Moving on, let's look at gold and silver. Try to hit, there it is, gold. Okay, weekly chart, 3 weeks up in a row. It's not making big moves, just trying to keep this little uptrend going. We need to get above this high right here to keep this uptrend going. Silver, not quite as strong. 4 up weeks in a row, but you can see we've only gotten about halfway up from this 3-week downtrend, and now we're running up against that 40-week moving average. So that's showing some resistance there. Gold miners don't look good at all. It's hit that 40-week moving average, and it looks like it's trying to roll over. Maybe might try to make another lower low here. And usually the gold miners will lead the metals, so we'll have to see what happens there. Now let's look at our currencies. Strong week rankings. New Zealand is the new top dog. It overtook the euro on Friday. Aussie is still weak, so is the pound. Very close here at the top, though. I mean, that could easily... These three actually spent the entire week 1, 2, 3, and they've just kind of changed positions a little bit. Let's look at some currency pairs now. We'll start with the euro US dollar. This thing just keeps moving up. We had a little bit of a pullback last week, and another... you actually have an engulfing candle here, so this thing looks like it's going to continue to run higher. We'll see when it gets up here to this red line if it's going to find resistance there. You know, this is that trading range we've been in for 2.5 years now. We'll see if it meets resistance when it gets up here. Now let's look at some top strong week trades that I've been watching. We'll start with the Euro Aussie. Okay, we're actually going to look at this on the daily, and there we go. This one became a top strong week trade back here on this candle, and it just went sideways for like a week and a half, and then finally on Wednesday it had a good pop, a little continuation. And let's see here. Let me see if I can drag that down a little bit, see it better. It made it to the, right here, the top here, which was up 211 pips at one point, and we had a little bit of a pullback on Friday. You don't know how long this pullback is going to continue, but this still looks like maybe we get a little more consolidation and before the next move up. No reason to think it won't. Another top strong week trade I've been watching is the Euro Pound. Again, this is where we entered at, and it continues to push higher, and not a big move, but you know, it topped out at 69 pips. This one doesn't rack up the pips nearly as much as some other pairs do, but it's still a valuable trade. And then we look at the current top strong week trade, which would be the Aussie New Zealand, with the New Zealand on top and the Aussie last. And you can see on the daily a big move down here 2 weeks in a row. If we go out a bit, you have to wonder if it might find some support here where we saw this congestion area right here. Swing out a little further, you know, it could move all the way down here to this 1.0250 area, which is still ways to go. So I will be tracking that using that 1.041 area as my starting point. We'll see how far it goes, and that's pretty much what I have for this week. Some nice looking trends developing, so hopefully everyone has a great weekend, and I will catch y'all later.